to. All right. So welcome tonight. Tonight's an exciting night for all of us for a lot of reasons. Tonight we're going to see our master student games. So the way you know this process works, all the students here are in graduate school to get their degrees in games. And so they're studying one of three tracks: game engineering, game art, or game production. And a graduate program requires a massive project to be part of it. And this game that goes forward will be part of that. And so what we're going to do tonight, we're going to have them sort of talk through their prototypes and their pitches. And then we want your honest to goodness feedback on that. They're dying to hear your feedback. They hear our feedback all the time. We encourage you to be blunt and to be so you know what they're kind of going for. All the students sort of have an academic and professional mission, right? So they need to learn about game development. They need to sort of push the boundaries of what they think games should be. And at the same time, they need to pick up the skills and talent they need to be employable when they're done here. And these games are a big part of that. They work on very large teams, anywhere from as small as 5 to as large as, say, 15 to 17 people, which is a bigger team than most students work with. They've already pitched the games internally once, and then that was a large group of pitches, and then they self-selected down to 4 games. And those 4 games you'll be seeing tonight. One of the things that we are doing is we are looking at possibly cutting 1 or 2 of the games, right? And making 2 very large teams. Now, if all 4 games are strong enough, and we think they have the talent to go forward, we'll put all 4 games forward. But if there isn't enough talent or enough personnel to make all of the games, we'll cut them down as necessary. And so your feedback is actually instrumental in that tonight. So they're student games. They're the way to sort of evaluate them is sort of say they're indie games, right? And even though we'll be making them over the course of 3 semesters, what that really ends up looking like is about 4 man-months, right? Because they're only working on them, say, anywhere from 8 to 20 hours a week. And they have, breaks in there and all that kind of stuff. So it works out to be a fairly short dev cycle if you think about it. And what you want to say is this a game that can fit in with other indie games, other student games? It's a game that has to be able to get attention and to really sing and convey a point without a marketing budget, right? And that's always sort of the trick of these things, is there is no opportunity really for branding. There is no opportunity to sort of sell a market. So it's got to be something that someone can pick up and understand and play. And we help out a little bit with that. We do some PR work for them. They do some PR work. But largely, it's just that kind of work, that reaching out to the public through the press more than any kind of brand difference.
One of the key elements of these games is that we want them to try to answer a question. And the questions can have many different forms. For example, one of the ones we had from last year was, how can you experience falling? Okay, and that was what their question was they were trying to answer. And so each of these games have thought about a little bit about what's the question you might want to answer.
From year 1, you may have seen one of the games that did really well, Erie, was a game that questioned fear and chase mechanics. They really wanted to understand fear and chase mechanics. And so the game, you get chased in several different ways. There's part of it where the monster chases you with AI. There's part of it that has triggered events. There's part of it that's funhouse kind of events, dark ride kind of things. And that was all they could sort of test out what worked and didn't work in their games. So all the games tonight, I think, have really clear questions, though. And the question is it an interesting question? So again, honest feedback, be brutal. At the end of the day, the decision to cut or move forward games will lie with the faculty. We take your decision, your input very, very seriously, though, and it sort of weighs our decisions. But if they need to yell, they don't want them to go, they'll let us not call them something else. So just take it easy.
Want to say your first names and where you're from, and so they are made what your position is, so that students know where it's coming from. You can start with Joe.
Joe Barn, I'm an engineer at Disney. Nathan Lindsay, I'm an animator at Disney. Shane Smith, programmer at Red Interactive, and I also teach here. Les Pardue, I've been doing this forever.
Victor Claro, founder of Fly Red Ball, currently contracting with EA.
Flat Red Ball is a cool open source engine you should look into.
Coulter Haycock, programmer at SmartBomb.
Eric Neely, I'm a software architect for autonomous systems at Boeing.
Scott Campbell, president of EC Play, and produce some
Rory Aguilar, programmer at East City Play.
Jacob English, lead artist, animator, and designer at East City Play.
And the Easton Players are kind of three posters tonight, which is pretty exciting.
Michael Dillon, gameplay software engineer at Electronic Arts.
Mike, we need to move you over to the front. Come on.
John Paul?
John Powell, programmer at Disney.
My name is John Nielsen, and I am working with Disney right now as well as a programmer. Ran my own studio, indie studio, for 7 years. Bacon Ranch Games.
Is that all of them? I think that's everybody, right? And behind you is cohort 3. Cohort 3 is the most diverse cohort that Master Game Studio has ever seen. We have students from all over the world, and we're actually really proud of that fact. It's made it a much more interesting place, and we've got just a great group of students. So the way that we're going to run this tonight is the students have selected the order of the games they're going to be seeing. They're going to present for approximately 10 minutes, and then we're going to have about 10 minutes of feedback. For everyone in the room, what we'd like to do is we've all had chances to give feedback already, so we'd really like to let our pro panel have the floor in terms of feedback, right? We can give feedback as faculty, staff, and students afterwards or independently. But, you know, the time's valuable, so we want to respect that. After we get through all 4 games, we will then have sort of an open question and answer period. Now we'll have a little mixing time, then we'll excuse the students, and we'll talk to you really briefly to get some maybe really scary news if you want to share it. All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Is there going to be time, there may be time to play the games. You guys set up to play the games or not? Yes. Yes.
So if there's time, we'll just do that.
Yeah. Okay, first team, Akenheim.
Well, first off, thank you so much for coming and take the time out to meet with us and watch us do our thing here. We are Team Hack and Hide. My name is Zach Truscott. This is Andrew Witz. The rest of our team in the back here, we have Vaibhav, Chris, Nick, AJ, Max, and Kiran.
So student loan debt is currently the largest type of consumer debt in the United States, reaching about $1 trillion in 2013. And the defaulted student loan portfolio is worth about $60 billion to the U.S. government and the Department of Education. And right now, 1 in 5 households owe about $25,000 in student debt. That means that sitting in this room, there's definitively more than $500,000 in student loan debt. As most of us know, student loan debt is one of the only types of consumer debt that does not go away after the declaration of bankruptcy.
In our game, the Department of Education holds a ruthless grasp on all the records and loans in the nation. Within the headquarters of the Department of Education, they house a computer deep within a vault that holds these records. Entering our protagonists, we have 2 post-college graduate students, one a hacker and one a point man, and their mission, their goal is to infiltrate the Department of Education and destroy that computer. And doing so wipes out all student debt. Now let's introduce you to our world of the game.
Hi, this is Linda Barnes from Executive Accounting. I'm having trouble logging into my system. I forgot to reset my new password the other day. Is there any way you can help me? You're a lifesaver. Thank you so much. Sure. DOB is 21579 and my social is 5665. Thank you. Thanks again. It's me. I'm in.
Cosiders, a two-player asymmetrical cooperative game about trust. The reason for our game is we're taking the first-person stealth gameplay known in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, and we're combining it with the unique strategy hacking game within Deus Ex Human Revolution. We're keeping it all under the umbrella of an asymmetrical cooperative experience.
The theory question that we used for our game is how do you build trust between players in a game? We use 3 T's to do so. The first is teamwork. Teamwork, you need to build trust between these players. They need to know that they've got each other's back within the game. Also tension. We create situations which puts those players in the tension situations. And a byproduct of that is trust.
So let's get into the character roles of the game. First of all, there's the hacker. The hacker is a confident gray hat hacker who thrives under pressure and loves to use their skills to cause chaos in the world. Now their main function of the gameplay is to help guide the point man throughout the Department of Education. How they do that is they roam the Department of Education's computer network, capturing and manipulating data nodes. Now, in order to capture a data node, you actually need to access a node that's adjacent to a node you previously had, as you see